Hi, I'm Rob Jones from Asper. Today we are going to be looking at ways in which you can create your book cover. I don't think anyone can deny the value of a really good book cover. This will be, for most of the time, your point of sale, so it is worth getting it right. This will be in 3 parts: how you access a book template for your paperback, looking at Amazon's own cover creator, and ways in which you can do this yourself. Firstly, your book cover template for KDP. If you search for KDP or Amazon paperback templates, you'll find yourself on this page, and as you can see, it's quite easy to fill in. This is the size of my book. They are all exactly the same size, so I know which ones I'm going to pick. And my latest one is about 340 pages. Unfortunately, you can't do this until you know how long your book is, so it's one of the things you do right at the end. And there is every piece of information you would want to know to start putting this image together. But what is more useful is their template. You get a PDF and a PNG. As a graphic, I usually use this one, which is a PNG, and it's pretty self-explanatory. All your images have to be inside those pink lines. Let's have a look at Amazon's own cover creator. When you were publishing your book, and some of you might already have watched the video where I've uploaded a book called Basis, I had a cover, but here I'm going to show you the cover creator. Very self-explanatory. You can use images, upload images, or it'll take you to further steps. We're just going to choose a picture. My book is about experience of playing bass guitar. I'm going into music, and I'm not surprised they don't really have a picture of a bass guitar, but just for demonstration purposes we'll use a guitar. Just by picking it, it gives you plenty of options. It's almost just set up for you, and in that way you don't need to do a lot of messing about with measurements. I'm not a great fan of it myself, mostly because I do my own covers, but it's an easy and simple option without you having to pay lots of people. This is Lee's book cover as a PDF that was uploaded for his paperback. You'll notice a couple of pieces of very impressive artwork, and these were provided by an artist that he employed, and of course that is an avenue which you can go down if you wish. Let's have a look at doing this yourself. I'm an artist, so I do tend to promote my works and sometimes use images for covers. That last image I have actually used in a book and we'll use in this demonstration. I'm going to show you now what I do generally when I start putting my own digital work together for a book cover. I'm now on Pixabay. Pixabay is one of those sites where you can access photos for free. I am a member, I'm just doing this as quick as I can, and I've chosen a picture of a rose that I want to use. I'm also looking for a picture of a medieval fantasy cover. On the site you've got all of these, and you may think that some are not exactly what you want, but just as a demonstration I'm going to download this first one as well before we start working. Now I use Photoshop, I use Affinity, and I use Photoshop Elements, and I'm going to work with Photoshop Elements today because it's a basic version and it's very much like any photo editing software you would have on any laptop, whether it's Windows, whether it's Mac. This is an example of what it looks like, and if you look on the left hand side, you're not overwhelmed with tools. On the right hand side it has options of effects and so forth, and it's where you edit layers. If you haven't done any of this stuff before, layers is literally where you paste pictures one on top of the other and then decide how you order them and you make your image. If you still have a computer or laptop that will take this, then Photoshop 12, which is this version, you can pick up on eBay as a disc for 20 or 30 pounds. This is one of my book covers, and it's made up of a few different elements: the text and the images and the background. This is where lots of effects are on the right hand side and patterns. But I'm now going to show you a list of layers. As you can't see everything, I've cropped a little bit unwittingly. But you see each layer represents an element within the picture. It's as simple as that. It's like building. The one that says layer 1 is my painting. I have cut out a part of it so that I can adjust it and make it fit on this marbling background. I'm just editing and copying the rows, and here I'm selecting a tool that is a select tool, and this is one that's called a magnet tool. So it tends to find the edges when you want to cut something out. I'll now copy and paste onto my image. Clearly reduce it, it's too big. And I think the only thing I'm going to do to it is add a shadow to distinguish it from that marble background. Here I am choosing shadow effects. Drag one onto it. I'm just going to edit that to make the shadow a little bit bigger. Okay, so it is simple as that. If you've not used this sort of software before, don't let it overwhelm you. I'm just showing you that we were looking at it at 33%. The image is perfect when you zoom in on it. This would be saved as a high quality PDF if you're using it for Amazon. Here you can see I've got one of the layers that I'm moving around. It's practically invisible. I'm making sure it fits the size of the template. This layer is at the top. And what I have done, I have made sure that it is transparent, completely transparent. And now I'm going to slowly reveal it. And you can see what it is. It's that template that is the top layer. I have always used this technique so that I know exactly where each part of the image sits and that it fits within all of those guidelines and doesn't interfere with the barcode. I'm just going to paste in this image of the tower that we took, just to show you something else before we move on. I'm literally going to paste it in this template again. So imagine we're starting from scratch. It would be helpful if I'd chosen a slightly larger image, but for these purposes it doesn't matter. I'm reversing it because I want the tower to be on the right. Makes more sense as a cover. Then I'm simply going to drag and make it fit the template. And there you have a perfectly suitable book cover to add text to.
These videos and tutorials are provided free by Asper. Please access the platform regularly and support others by responding to questions in the forum, looking in the bookstore, attending webinars, and our once-a-month pros and cons online coffee morning chat. It will only survive through member engagement, and please remember you can support this free association by giving a small financial contribution on the site. Thank you.